Making headlines, Maldives urges the international community to ensure that the rule of law is respected and upheld by all to end the genocidal acts being committed by Israel in Palestine. The Foreign Ministry once again urges Maldivians residing and traveling to UK to exercise caution, as they have been informed of plans to organize over 100 protests. And Tourism Minister states that he intends to hold an investment forum in neighboring India aiming to bring in investors of the country.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSMNEWS in English with me, Mariam Shawshat. Maldives urges the international community to ensure that the rule of law is respected and upheld by all to end the genocidal acts being committed by Israel in Palestine.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Musa Zamir, representing the Maldives, delivered the national statement during the open-ended extraordinary meeting of the Executive Committee of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC) at the level of foreign ministers in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. In his remarks, Mr. Zamir reflected on the worsening situation in Gaza and condemned the genocidal acts being committed by Israel against the Palestinian people. The minister stressed the role of the international community in ensuring the rule of law is respected and upheld to ensure Israel is held accountable for its atrocious acts. He then called for an urgent and lasting humanitarian ceasefire to be implemented. Noting that incremental progress of aid to Gaza is no longer enough, he called for the international community to ensure the safe collection and distribution of adequate aid by humanitarian convoys. Reiterating that the Maldives will never waver its commitment to the Palestinian cause, Mr. Zamir stated that a lasting solution can only be realized with Palestine established as an independent and sovereign state based on the pre-1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. The minister also condemned the assassination of Chief of Political Bureau of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh. The OIC, comprising 57 member states, is a strong advocate for the people of Palestine and their aspiration for statehood. The Maldives has been an active member of the OIC since becoming a member on July 26, 1976. The extraordinary open-ended meeting of the OIC Executive Committee aims to address the brutal Israeli aggression against the Palestinians. The OIC meeting is being held at the invitation of Palestine and Iran following the ongoing acts of genocide committed by Israel in Palestine and the assassination of former Hamas leader in the Gaza Strip, Ismail Haniyeh.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs once again urges Maldivians residing and travelling to the United Kingdom UK to exercise caution, as they have been informed of plans to organise over 100 protests in various regions of the country. The ministry revealed the High Commission of the Maldives in London is actively monitoring the safety of the Maldivians in UK since the beginning of the protests on July 29th. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry urged all Maldivian citizens travelling to and residing in the UK to be more cautious of the situation. The ministry requested all to adhere to the guidance provided by the High Commission, emphasizing the importance of remaining vigilant, staying informed about the evolving situation, and prioritizing personal safety. The ministry recommended avoiding areas exercising unrest and following directives issued by the UK government. Additionally, it encouraged individuals requiring further assistance to contact the High Commission of the Maldives in London directly. The High Commission has also requested all Maldivians residing in the UK to register in the High Commission. Violent protests and incidents have erupted in Sunderland, a northeast city in the UK, following the killing of 3 children in Southport. These events were fueled by misinformation circulating on social media, which inaccurately identified the suspect as a radical Islamist migrant. Anti-immigrant demonstrators threw stones at police in riot gear near a mosque in the city before overturning vehicles, setting a car alight and starting a fire next to a police officer. The UK police reported that the criminal was a 17-year-old resident from the UK. The demonstration in Sunderland was one of more than a dozen planned by anti-immigration protesters across the UK, including in the vicinity of at least 2 mosques in Liverpool, the closest city to where the children were killed. Several anti-racism counter-protests were also planned. British police have been deployed extensively and mosques are implementing increased security measures. The Prime Minister of UK, Keir Starmer, has expressed deep concern and has condemned the unrest in the country. Minister of Tourism Ibrahim Faisal states that he intends to hold an investment forum in neighbouring India, aiming to bring in investors of the country. He made the statement during a press conference held to mark the successful conclusion of Welcome India roadshows to promote the Maldives as a top-of-the-mind destination in the country.
Speaking at the press conference, Faisal disclosed that discussions were held with relevant agencies to promote Maldivian tourism in India, as well as to seek investments in the sector. As such, he noted that discussions were held on finding connectivity projects before the completion of the Hanimadu Airport and Addu Airport. He stated that discussions were also held on finding tourism investments for the 2 areas. Furthermore, Faisal met with the Indian Minister of Tourism and the Minister of Civil Aviation on the sideline of the roadshows, where the Indian ministers assured the Maldivian government of their cooperation in boosting the Maldivian tourism industry. The Indian ministers assured that the government of India will help dispel the frustration against Maldives and increase the number of tourist arrivals from India. Faisal stated that his intention is to hold an investment forum in India in consultation with the President and the Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation (MMPRC). Noting that the ministry gives high importance to the Indian market, the minister added that roadshows will also be held as part of the investment forum. The Welcome India roadshows were organized by MMPRC, Maldives Association of Travel Agents and Tour Operators, and the National Hotels and Guest Houses Association of Maldives. The shows were held in 3 major cities of India: New Delhi on 30th July, Mumbai on 1st August, and Bangalore on 3rd August. Speaking to the press, Managing Director of MMPRC Ibrahim Shuri stated that the roadshows has dispelled the frustrations against Maldives in the market. He added that more tourist arrivals from the Indian market are expected in the coming low season.
Minister of Tourism Ibrahim Faisal states investments in the Maldives tourism sector will enjoy benefits in a short period of time. The statement was made by the minister during the Australian Hotel Industry Conference and Exhibition, Maldives Hotel Investment Summit.
Speaking at the summit, Minister Faisal revealed that the success of the Maldives' tourism sector is directly interlinked with successful investments. The minister stated that the amendments brought to the Maldives Tourism Act will provide new opportunities for development of the sector while ensuring utmost convenience to investors. He noted the administration is committed to provide investors with good opportunities with less burden. Highlighting the success of the investments can be observed through the services provided by the nation and its well-renowned status. Minister Faisal stated that only a short period is required for investors to gain the benefits. The minister disclosed that Maldives currently holds its position as the top market of the region. Furthermore, Minister Faisal underscored the government's efforts in achieving its overarching goal, gaining a revenue of $7 billion from the tourism industry by 2027. He affirmed that with the inauguration of the new terminal at Velana International Airport VIA and the introduction of a wide-body aircraft into Maldivian, the national airlines fleet will play a pivotal role in bolstering the tourism industry.
Ministry of Fisheries and Ocean Resources initiates efforts to ensure that every fishing boat is equipped with a trained individual to manage finances. The government has also launched programs to train a rescue diver for each vessel. Speaking to PSMNEWS, Minister of State for Fisheries and Ocean Resources, Mohammad Muttalib, noted that such courses have not been offered in the Maldives for a long time. He also emphasized that the current fisheries minister aims to provide scholarship opportunities within the fisheries sector and to train as many individuals as possible. Additionally, State Minister Muttalib said that as part of this initiative, an assessment is being conducted in collaboration with companies to identify areas of need within the fisheries sector. He also said that the process of training individuals for these roles is ongoing and a specially trained person has already begun managing the financial affairs of each fishing boat. Furthermore, State Minister Muttalib acknowledged that these goals cannot be fully achieved within a single year. He, however, expressed confidence that most of the work will be completed within the next 5 years. Minister of Cities, Local Government and Public Works Adam Sharif Umar discloses that 4 island councils have expressed interest in acquiring uninhabited islands. He stated that 4 councils have submitted expression of interest following the government's decision to allocate uninhabited islands to councils for economic activities.
Adam Sharif disclosed that the island councils of Inguradu Island in Ra Atoll, Kudahodu Island in Dal Atoll, Mawish Island in Lam Atoll, and the Atoll Council of Meme Atoll submitted their proposals to acquire islands for economic development. He noted that the proposals would be forwarded to the President's office upon completion of the technical work. Urging all the councils to use the opportunity provided by the government, Adam Sharif noted that availability of the islands for 25 years is essential to empower councils. He also stated that this will provide opportunities for the youth and make way for the development of industrial activities. Earlier this year, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz pledged to make it easier for councils to obtain permits to operate income-generating businesses. He stated that the administration aims to make all islands and the island communities self-reliant and self-sufficient. As such, he announced that uninhabited islands will be leased to the councils for economic activities. The islands will be leased for a period of 10 to 25 years.
Ministry of Social and Family Development launches the Halukine program in Vilimale, aiming to improve family welfare.
The initiative involves visiting residents across all islands in the Maldives to assess their well-being, identify individuals in need and provide necessary services. The program was inaugurated on August 7 by Minister Dr. Aishat Shiham, who has already visited some homes in Vilimale. It is being conducted in collaboration with the Vilimale Women's Development Committee. The ministry plans to visit all households in Vilimale over the next 2 weeks. The ministry is working closely with public service institutions, relevant agencies, atoll councils, local island councils and WDCs to conduct the program. The goal is to visit every household in the Maldives within a year to identify individuals requiring special assistance from the state. Individuals needing immediate help can also contact the ministry call center at 1433. The ministry's teams will continue household visits to provide necessary assistance. The Halukine program initially began in Hulumale. In alignment with President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's vision of fostering a compassionate society, the program aims to strengthen relationship and build trust between the government and the citizens.
The Health Protection Agency HPA publicizes a guideline under the Public Health Protection Act, which discloses the policies and standards on controlling pests.
The primary objective of the guideline is to safeguard public health by preventing diseases transmitted by pests. It specifies the policies and measures required to manage pests in public areas, workplaces, and residential and non-residential environments. The guideline has listed the locations which are prone to pest breeding, both in public spaces and residential areas. It stipulates that if such conditions are found at a construction site, the constructors are responsible for eliminating these breeding environments. Meanwhile, if these conditions are present in public areas, the responsibility lies with the respective city or island council to address the issue. Additionally, service-providing entities must undertake pest control in their facilities. The guideline also urges ensuring proper maintenance of government buildings, industrial areas, hotels, guest houses, and storages. It indicates individuals to ensure that transport vehicles, vessels, or aircraft are free of pest-breeding environments. Furthermore, the guideline states that chemicals and pesticides permitted by the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Welfare can be utilized for pest controlling and eliminating them. Permission must be sought from the ministry prior to using the chemicals as well. The guideline outlines the procedures and the situations in which specific chemicals can be used. The guideline specifies that if a designated location fails to eliminate pest-breeding environments within the specified deadlines, the responsible party will be subject to a fine not exceeding $64.90. Additionally, Any individual who obstructs an inspection by a relevant agency or its designated representative will incur a fine up to $324. Councils that do not adhere to the guidelines will also face a fine up to $324. That's it for tonight. Have a pleasant night ahead. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
The National Health Insurance Scheme ASANDA states that over $53 million was spent under the scheme in the second quarter of this year, covering the period from April to June. The latest statistics released from ASANDA show that the scheme's total expenditure reached over $53 million in the second quarter, marking an 11.5% increase compared to the same period last year. The expenditure stood at $48 million last year. The statistics also reveal an increase in the number of individuals using the ASANDA scheme this year. The total number of service recipients increased from 260,725 last year to 265,059 this year. In addition, 1,232 patients were transferred between islands for emergency medical services and 2,807 patients received treatment abroad under the National Health Scheme. The government plans to strengthen the ASANDA scheme and expand its services. As such, free medical checkups are now offered under the scheme. Due to the rising costs of healthcare services, ASANDA will review the pricing of health services provided both domestically and internationally. Managing Director of Public Service Media PSM, Zina Zahir, discloses that the digital terrestrial broadcasting project is in full swing with the construction of buildings in 12 islands completed. She made the remarks during the 11th Joint Committee meeting of the Digital Terrestrial Television Broadcasting Operation Capacity Improvement Project.
The Digital Terrestrial Broadcasting Project aims to provide timely disaster information and general information. It is a joint project by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Finance, National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, Maldives Meteorological Center, Communication Authority of Maldives, CAM, Broadcasting Commission, and PSM. PSM was awarded the implementation of the project, and it is being conducted with the aid of the Japanese government. Speaking at the 11th Joint Committee meeting, the Managing Director of PSM noted the deadline for completion and delivery of the project has been extended. She revealed that the project is currently scheduled to be completed and handed over by July 2026. Disclosing that 12 of the 19 buildings being constructed on islands, Zina stated that construction work of the building to be developed in either Fushin Ba Atoll will commence this week. She further noted construction work is underway in islands with resource acquisition work also commenced. Zina highlighted the Ministry of Finance and other relevant agencies are working together to continue the project with no delays despite the budget constraints. The main objective of the Digital Terrestrial Broadcasting Project is to establish a nationwide system to send emergency information alerts to TV and digital devices to provide the public with the latest, most updated information. The project will cover 92% of the island's population and will be also implemented in areas where the service is not available.
German exports unexpectedly register a sharp drop in June, but industrial production rose, official data shows, as Europe's biggest economy struggles to emerge from a weak period.
Exports dropped 3.4% from the previous month and stood at 127.7 billion euros, Federal Statistics Agency, the status said in a statement. It was the second straight monthly drop and far worse than a forecast from analysts surveyed by FactSet, who had predicted an increase of 1.3%. Exports to the European Union (EU) were down 3.4% compared to the previous month, while beyond the bloc they were down by 3.5%. The United States (US) was still the biggest importer of made-in-Germany goods, although exports to the world's biggest economy fell 7.7%. Germany imported 107.3 billion euros worth of products in June, a slight increase on the previous month, with its trade surplus coming in at 20.4 billion euros. On a more positive note, factory output rose 1.4% in June compared to the previous month, according to the status. That represented a turnaround from a sharp drop in May and was slightly better than a forecast by analysts surveyed by FactSet. The rise was driven by improvements in the auto industry and the manufacture of electric equipment. Weakness in the crucial manufacturing sector has been blamed in part for a broader slowdown in the German economy, and the economy ministry cautioned the latest data do not indicate the problems are over yet. It said in a statement that gloomy business expectations in the manufacturing sector indicate that industrial activity will remain subdued. Buffeted by multiple headwinds, the German economy shrank in 2023 but had started the year on a positive note, with signs that a recovery was taking hold. But recent data, including an unexpected contraction of the economy in the second quarter, suggest the rebound may be losing steam.
Thousands of anti-racism protesters take to the streets in several English cities to oppose days of far-right violence that have had the UK police on high alert.
Nightly riots during which mosques and migrant-related facilities have been attacked have erupted across towns and cities in England and Northern Ireland, fueled by a wave of misinformation surrounding the murder of 3 children on July 29th. But on Wednesday evening, it was anti-racism and anti-fascist counter-protesters who were out in greater numbers holding rallies in cities up and down England, including London, Birmingham, Bristol, Liverpool and Newcastle. Andy Valentine, the Met Police's Deputy Assistant Commissioner, thanked communities for coming together across the capital and for showing community spirit. In Sheffield, activists chanted as riot police looked on. In Birmingham, hundreds of anti-racism protesters gathered outside a migrant support centre, while in Brighton around 2,000 people took part in a peaceful demonstration, according to police. There was some friction, however, as in the southern town of Aldershot, where the PA reported police had to intervene between anti-racism activists and a group of people shouting "Stop the boats," a reference to migrants who reached Britain by crossing the English Channel. The government had put 6,000 specialist police on standby to deal with the approximately 100 demonstrations by far-right activists and counter-protesters that were advertised. In a social media post, Home Secretary Yvette Cooper thanked all the police officers working tonight to protect and support local communities. Courts have started to order jail terms for offenders tied to the unrest as authorities seek to head off new troubles. The disorder, Britain's worst since the 2011 London riots, has seen almost 430 people arrested and at least 120 charged, and has led several countries to issue travel warnings for the UK.
Thierry Henry's France are hoping a home crowd at the Parc des Princes can drive them on to win Olympic men's football gold, but an impressive Spain side will attempt to deny them in the final.
Thierry Henry, a France legend as a player, has led his country to the brink of their second football gold medal, 40 years after they won the title in Los Angeles. That victory over Brazil came just a few weeks after the full French national team lifted their first major trophy by beating Spain on home soil in the final of Euro 84. Just like then, the nations will meet at a packed Parc des Princes on Friday when a hostile home support will try to spur France on to victory. They have already effectively fulfilled their objective by being guaranteed a medal, with Henry succeeding in moulding together a cohesive team after initially being met by a series of rejections from clubs unwilling to release their players. Clubs have no obligation to let their players take part in the Olympics, where the men's tournament is reserved for those aged under 23, with the exception of 3 who are over age. Kylian Mbappe, the captain of the senior national side, wanted to come but was not allowed by his new club Real Madrid. Hopes of getting Antoine Griezmann on board were quickly dashed. The new Juventus midfielder, Khéphren Thuram, was initially in the squad before being obliged to return to his employer. But Les Bleus have been expertly led by the experienced Alexandre Lacazette and his fellow forwards, the bruising Jean-Paul Mateta and the flying Michael Olise. They won all 3 group games without conceding a goal before seeing off Argentina 1-0 in a fiery quarter-final, and then showing great character to come from behind and beat Egypt 3-1 after extra time in the last 4. This may be the Paris Games, but so far Henry's team have played all their matches elsewhere around the country, in Marseille, Nice, Bordeaux and Lyon.
What was meant to be a week-long trip to the International Space Station ISS for the first NASA astronauts to fly with Boeing could extend to 8 months, with the agency considering bringing them home on a SpaceX spaceship.
Officials said in a call with reporters that a final decision on whether to persist with Boeing's troubled Starliner, which experienced worrying propulsion issues as it flew up to the orbital platform in June, is expected later this month. Detailed planning is already underway with Boeing's rival SpaceX, owned by Elon Musk, to potentially launch their scheduled Crew 9 mission on September 24th with just 2 astronauts rather than the usual 4. The Crew Dragon capsule would then be able to return to Earth with Starliner's crew of Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams in February 2025 in what would amount to a major embarrassment for aerospace giant Boeing. In this scenario, Starliner would fly back without crew before Crew 9 launches. Steve Stitch, program manager for NASA's Commercial Crew program, revealed that there had been intense discussions on the best way forward, with Boeing expressing confidence in its spacecraft after carrying out ground testing to replicate the technical issues seen in space. He said that the NASA community in general would like to understand a little bit more of the root cause and the physics. Notably absent from the briefing were representatives from Boeing, heightening the perception of a rift. On August 2nd, the company released a blog update stating it remains confident in the Starliner spacecraft and its ability to return safely with crew. NASA and Boeing have been conducting tests at the White Sands testing facility in New Mexico to better understand why some of the Starliner's thrusters experienced a loss of power as it approached the ISS, and why it sprung several leaks of helium used to pressurize the propulsion system.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news updates. Have a good day. Goodbye.